What's up, everybody, and welcome back to All the Things Sorta Truth, the alcohol-fueled chapter-by-chapter reread of the Sorta Truth series with a spring of craft brew on the side. Now, I know that's too much beer to drink in one sitting, but it's got to be good, right?
Well, it's fresh.
Oh, the freshest.
Bottled at the source, baby.
I'm Nate.
And I'm Jade.
And this week, we're going to be talking about Chapter 45 of Wizard's First Rule.
Yeah, we are.
That's good. Here.
Before we get into the chapter, we just wanted to bring up our giveaway we have going on. We have a little bundle of prizes that we're going to be giving away at the end of this book. You guys have about 2 weeks from the airing of this episode to get in a call to our phone number. Our phone number is, again, 616-259-0025. And if you leave us a voicemail there, I think you can also text. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And tell us a little bit about what the books mean to you and why they're so important to you. Let us know that you're trying to enter so that we don't get you mixed up with any other messages or emails that we might be getting. And we will enter you for that. And then at the end of the book, that's going to be May 13th. That's going to be the date that we air the last episode. We will be having one extra episode after that in which we will announce the winner. I think that's enough talking before the episode. Let's get the fuck on.
All right. Well, in this chapter, Richard gets to go spelunking. It's not as much fun as it sounds. And then he gets to reunite with the Gars Kaylin and him saw a few weeks ago.
It's so fun.
Yeah, great fucking chapter for Richard. There was a couple of points during this chapter that I looked at you and went, nope, I'm not the guy. I quit. I don't want to. Oh, the cave terrifies me. Thanks.
That's going to be a hard pass.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, the chapter doesn't start out so bad. It starts out and he's on a fucking dragon.
Right. No, it starts out fucking awesome.
He likes riding the dragon.
He's riding a dragon.
Yeah. And it describes how when Scarlet turns, he like sinks into her.
Yeah.
Instead of falling off. And it's like, it's not as scary as he thought he would be.
It reminds me a lot of riding a motorcycle.
Yeah.
I love the way that Terry put it, because when you really carve into a turn on a bike, you don't feel like you're going to fall over. You feel like your center of gravity is down, and that's pointed right towards the wheels. Even if you are at a 45-degree angle, you don't feel that way when you're riding.
Yeah.
And I love riding, but it's got to be way fucking cooler than that. Being on a dragon, but it's the same type of sensation, I think.
Yeah. But also, I imagine more terrifying and colder. Like, I feel like that's something that didn't get mentioned. He's not wearing leathers.
Yeah, no chaps whatsoever. He's all the way up there. His ass is freezing, I'm sure.
So, after they take a big, long trek across the land, and they get to the hot springs where Richard knew the egg and the Gars were, they see them all there. And she's like, shit, that's a lot of Gars.
Yeah. Way too many for me to handle. Dark and Rawl knew that this was too many for me to handle, so he put this many here.
Yeah, he was doing this on purpose, because he's a dick.
Yeah. Yes, he is. So they have to figure out how they're going to handle this many Gars. And Richard remembers that Kaylin told him about the Shadrin's cave. She told him that it goes all the way through.
Yeah.
So he's got a direct line to the egg.
Yeah. That's why he tells Scarlet to land on the other side.
Yeah, scoop me up when I'm done.
So they land, and Scarlet's like, all right, get moving. And he's like, well, what? I said this might work, but there also might be something living in there that might eat me. Should we maybe talk about this? Is this maybe not the right thing to do? Can we have a discussion? And she just like, oh, something might live in there? Let me blow some fire? Now get the fuck moving.
Yeah, she does not want to wait for fucking anything. And you know what? You can't really blame her. Richard is going in there to save her baby. But it is kind of funny how fast she lands. She blows the fire into the cave and she's like, go.
Yeah.
I'm not waiting. We're doing this thing now.
Go do the thing and get me my baby. Richard's like, all right, okay, I'll go in. I know that the fire probably didn't get all the way through the cave, but all right, I'll go in now that you've probably pissed off whatever's in there. Sounds like a great plan.
Yeah, she opened the door. She didn't, secure the building.
No, not even a little bit. And he tells her, I'm going to figure out how to get the egg back. You just wait here. I'll be back probably by tomorrow-ish. But you need to be ready to go in a hurry if I need you to be, because I'm not going to be... I might be coming in hot, okay?
Yeah. Yeah, if they're fucking chasing me, I want to rely on you to be ready to go. I don't want to have to holler at you, start the car!
So Richard has Scarlet light him a torch with a little tiny stream of fire, which I thought was amusing to just imagine her doop. And then he climbs into the dark.
And right away, Goodkind starts using descriptions that really paint a vivid picture. There was a lot of bright colors, which kind of reminds us of Big Thunder Mountain Railroad.
Yeah.
With all the colors in the roller coaster. But the thing that stuck out was that the dark was a slow sucking death.
Yeah.
So a lot of bright colors, underground, very vivid. And then there's just the blackness that he's descending into.
Yeah. And I think maybe the bright colors can't even be seen a lot of the time if you didn't have a torch to them, I would think, because there's no other light source.
Yeah, no, it's pitch black. It's only because he has the torch that he can see the colors on the walls. I don't think it's lit with color. I think it's just the rock.
He takes a long time to trek through here. He sees a lake. He sees all sorts of real interesting shit, but it's not, it's all the same. After a little bit, it's more and more rock, and he gets tired, and he's just kind of over it after a little while. Loses all track of time, which I don't feel like would take very long without a watch.
No, I think we've talked about this before. I don't think that they are in a time period where they'd have a watch to use.
Yeah, no.
So I don't know if the answer would be a sundial, or if they maybe had increments of time, but they didn't have something as advanced as a watch to tell that on. Either way, I believe that once you're inside the cave, you have no bearing of time.
Yeah, I'm sure Richard has some way, Wood's Guide to record, the sun, sundial bullshit. Sun's about a quarter of the way across the sky. I know what time it is. It doesn't work in a cave.
Yeah, no, I think once you're in there, it's just your reckoning.
Yeah.
Hasn't been an hour? Has it been 10 minutes?
Well, and I can't imagine that staying with Denna with those long stretching periods of time where he had no idea how long it had been since he slept or ate or anything in the dark probably didn't help.
No, definitely not.
Eventually, the roof lowers and the ground starts being covered in mud, but it's real gross smelling mud.
Yeah. You're getting towards the bottom sludge.
He didn't smell anything for a long time. This whole time that he's been trekking through here, it's been scentless. And then all of a sudden he smelt it.
He smelt it. The rot.
Yeah.
At this point in the cave is when I stop picturing Richard walking into a cave. Exactly. Now he's in a hole.
Yeah.
Once it says he's bent over and he's on his hands and knees crawling through this thing, this big cave came to a point somewhere in the back of the room where it's only what I'm picturing to be maybe 4 by 4 feet.
Yeah. Because, for a while he walked with his head off to the side.
Yeah.
And then it's like Willy Wonka room.
Exactly. It's getting smaller and smaller, so it looks like he's getting bigger and bigger. And that's when it gets so small that Richard kind of doubts he can get through it just by sight alone. He can hear air going through it, so he knows that this is the way to the other end of the cave.
Yeah, there is an opening somewhere.
Yeah, but he has to go through this hole, and he keeps looking at it I don't like how small it is.
Don't like that. Nope. Don't like that.
This was also a source of great humor and joy for Jade and I as we read this chapter, because obviously It's about Richard going into the hole. Just going to let you all stew with that a second. We listened to this chapter next to each other, and every time there was a reference about Richard going into the hole, or the size of the hole, or the shape of the hole.
Yeah.
Jade and I would look at each other and just go,
and pushing in on him.
Right. And we just thought that we would be doing you guys dirty if we didn't bring up the fact that we thought this was hilarious. And it was probably unintentional, but it's brilliant nonetheless.
I don't know. I think Terry knew exactly what he was doing.
You think he did?
Yeah, I think he did. And I would suggest, if you're bored, and especially if you know somebody who you can sit down and listen to this chapter, it's only half an hour. Sit down with somebody, turn the chapter on, and giggle. Because I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, and we talk about him all the time. Sam Chuchevas, he does a fantastic job with it, and there is no trace of humor in his voice at all whatsoever when he reads this.
Yeah, there's no way I could read an Audible book with this like serious talk about pushing into the tight hole.
And not have a little giggle.
And being a little hesitant to go farther. But just the tip creeped up his pant leg. Ah!
Yeah. Okay, so here we go. Richard pushes into the hole, and it pushed against him, immediately causing him to worry, which, I mean, yeah, it's tight. You may or may not be able to fit all the way through, and if you get stuck, you're going to die. Like, you're going to. Scarlet can't come in and help you, and nobody else knows where you are.
Right, no, you're trapped if you get stuck. And actually, this part is one of the things that made me, like, not want to ever go in a cave. I think caving would be fun, spelunking, whatever, but, this is fucking creepy. And I've read about people getting stuck like this in rock shelves. You get yourself so far in there that you have to take a deep breath to go farther, and then you're stuck because you can't breathe again and you suffocate.
Well, that's exactly what happens to Richard. He keeps pushing further, and it keeps pressing down on his, what I picture back. I picture him flat on his belly at this point, scraping to get forward.
Yeah. I think he's even got, like, Superman pose going on.
You got the one leg up for leverage, otherwise you can't push on nothing.
Yeah, well, and his arms are out forward, I think.
Oh, yeah, trying to make himself as flat as possible. So he keeps pushing forward, and it keeps pressing down, and eventually he stops moving. Now, the way that it's described, he's pushing himself forward into this crevice, right? It's getting flatter and flatter, it's getting tighter and tighter, and when he gets stuck, he's stuck to the point where he can't back up either. That would be the only other option right now.
Yeah. No, he's wedged.
He's in far enough to where going back isn't an option, so he has to go forward or, like, fail.
Right, but at this point, he's completely stretched out, so he, like, even going forward isn't really enough. Like, he's gotten himself well and truly kind of fucked.
You had mentioned the Superman leg. Something like that would be necessary right now, because if your legs are straight and your arms are straight and you can't move anything, you can't, like, swing your arm around to push yourself.
Right. You're
completely flat with nowhere to go. So it makes mention of Richard thinking about all the rock that's above him. And you're in a cave. That has to be terrifying.
Yeah, no, the thought of the whole mountain coming down on you, or, like, you just being stuck with the whole the weight of the mountain. Ugh. I'm not a fan. Yeah,
it's enough to induce panic for sure.
Yeah, I would be panicking.
And so Richard does just that. He starts fucking panicking. At least by the way Sam Chuchevas read it, he starts to hyperventilate and starts giving the devotion for Dark and Rawl to keep himself calm. I think this is something that is important to note, because that's how he dealt with stress